Hello everybody and welcome to the Cartoon Gamer Q and A. You guys asked me some questions and here I am to answer them for you. I don't know how long this is gonna be, it may be multiple parts, but let's just get right into it, shall we? First question comes to us from Jump on Everything, who asks, why did I start my YouTube channel? Well, I've always been a creative guy and I always wanted to share my thoughts and opinions on stuff that I liked, like video games, etc. So I decided to make myself a YouTube channel, and after some time passed, I decided to make videos. That's pretty much as simple as it gets. ED Games asked me what compelled me to make YouTube videos. Also, why is it called a pair of pants when it's only one? Well, after seeing people I admire make YouTube videos, I wanted to do something too, share my opinions with others, and maybe I could get an audience out of it. That's what really compelled me. And for your second question, I guess it's for the same reason hot dogs come in packages of 10 and buns come in packs of 8. Roy Player asks which game franchises I'm considering trying out in the future. Stuff that's on my mind right now: Uncharted, Spyro the Dragon, especially since the remaster was just announced, and I want to try out some more Castlevania games. I've been trying to get to Symphony of the Night for who knows how long, but I'm eventually gonna do it, I swear, I promise you. Ultimate AMC asks, what was my first video game? Well, it's either a toss-up between, it was either Super Mario World or Donkey Kong Country. I do know that the Super Nintendo was my first console, it was in the house before I was even born, but I can't remember which of those two games I played first. I do know it was one of them though. Ken Serial asks, what's the video I'm most proud of making? Well, usually the big Pokemon videos that I do, I'm always proud of when they're done. They're a massive undertaking, they take a lot of planning, and they're usually really personal, but it feels so good to have all of my thoughts in a big professional video with all these nice music cues and whatnot. The Takeshi Shudo videos especially, when I finished those and I saw so many people like writing articles about it and sharing it online, I felt really good about myself. And more recently, I would say the YTV and the WB video that I did was a good one too. I was so proud of that because that was a video that was like years in the making. I didn't even think about it at the time, but man, that video was great. I'm so proud of that one. Stupid Star Sonic asks, other than YouTube and animation, what's something else I want to pursue? One thing I've always wanted to be is being a voice actor, like a professional voice actor, and being a creative person, writing my own stories, creating my own characters. I would love to make my own animated series someday. I've already got the ideas for different shows that I want to develop, but timing is key and all that kind of stuff, but I know that if I just keep doing what I'm doing, I'll eventually get to where I want to go. Mad Goth Morgoth asks me what's my opinion on the Sun and Moon anime, any plans to review the anime season. Well, I have to say that the Sun and Moon anime is getting pretty interesting. I don't know where it's going, but it still has me invested, and every now and again they'll do something amazing, including stuff that has never been done before in the show. I don't think I'm gonna review it, but I mean, anything could happen, but we'll have to wait and see. Jonathan Sandstrom asks me how I got connected to the Pizza Party podcast. Well, I already told the story, but long story short, one of the hosts of the podcast, Izzy, she subscribed to my channel like a couple years back, and then one day on Twitter she complimented me saying, oh, a Cartoon Gamer's voice is so cool, and then I said, oh, thank you very much, and then she said, you should be on the podcast sometime, and then before I knew it, I was on the podcast, and then I got to be on the podcast again, so yeah, that's how I got on it, and thanks so much for watching for so long since the top 10 favorite games video you said. That's awesome. Thanks, man. Sleepsy asks a couple questions, but I'm gonna answer the last one because I'm gonna go over the other three and a couple other questions people asked me. They say, do you only limit myself with E to E10 games for any reason? Because they saw me play Bayonetta 2 a while back. But no, I don't limit myself. It just so happens that the games that I really like tend to fall in that range. I mean, I'm no stranger to playing stuff that skews a little bit to an older audience like Ratchet & Clank, Rated T, Killer Instinct, Bayonetta, Conquer. It's just that, like I said before, that's just where my tastes lie. Would I do a Let's Play in the future, and if I did, would I let my brother involved if he wanted to be? Well, you know, Let's Plays haven't really been my forte. Me and my brother actually did try doing a Let's Play like a couple years years back, we played Buster Bust Loose for the Super Nintendo, and we actually played through the whole game, but it just wasn't clicking with us. Like, we couldn't get our audio to sync with the game audio, we were having problems with that. But no, I'm not really a Let's Player kind of guy, but I would do some more one-off things like what we did with the Prime Cup Trials of 2016 when we played Pokemon Stadium, so little one-off things like that's more likely. And yes, I would let my brother join me if he wanted to, I guess. Ginger Snap asks, since I'm an artist as well as a YouTuber, what are my favorite sorts of characters, environments, and styles to draw? Well, I like drawing humans, creatures, and very natural, vibrant environments. Things that are typically on the more simplistic side, but they have quite a bit of depth to them. Stuff with very defined or simple shapes, those are really fun to draw too. I love cartoony styles. I like any cartoony style. Dan Finnerty asks, in my own experience, what's the hardest thing about being a popular content creator? Well, I would say trying to keep the popularity and the momentum going. I'm not what you would call popular, so to speak, especially in the faces of my contemporaries, but I can imagine the stress of trying to stay relevant, trying to put something out every week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that kind of stuff. So I guess that's the hardest thing about being popular, staying popular, especially in this day and age. A couple people asked me what my favorite video game was, and to this day, it is still Super Smash Bros. Melee. That game just has everything that I'm looking for, and I'm not even a competitive Melee player. I just love it because there's just so much to do. Even after I unlocked everything, I still go back to that game all the time because it's just so much fun. Just a great game. Gurren the Stormbolt asks me if I've watched My Hero Academia and asks me what I think about it, and yeah, overall I really like it. I love the story, I love the animation, I love the voice acting. I've been watching the English dub and everybody just does a bang-up job on that. I think the only really thing I dislike about the show is probably the more anime-esque jokes, if you know what I mean. Also, Mineta is getting on my nerves, but I mean, he gets on everybody's nerves. That's his thing. But overall, yeah, love My Hero Academia. Can't wait for season 3. Alright, here's the big one. A few people have been asking me why my profile picture is a Pikachu, and it's just a pretty simple story. Originally, when I started my account, my original profile picture was just a picture of Ashichu from that one episode of Pokemon, Hocus Pokemon, and then over time I decided to stylize it a little bit, drew it up, and it eventually evolved into what you see today. And the reason it's in Ethan or Gold's clothes is because I just thought it would look nice. Originally, it was in a Red's outfit, but I decided to go with Gold because I like Gold better. Blue Trainer 12 also asks what my favorite Pokemon is, and man, it's still Sceptile. It's always been Sceptile. It's not gonna change. It's always gonna be Sceptile. Do I have any style or any grace? Well, I can't say that I do, but the last time I checked, I had a pretty funny face. Jump on Everything also asked me what my favorite console and game was, and man, I would really have to think about it, but one of my favorites has to be the Super Nintendo, and my favorite game of all time, like I said, it's Melee. Wilfred Cthulhu, I see this guy everywhere I go. How's it going, man? He asks me, what are some of my favorite childhood memories? Well, some of them include whenever I went to my aunt's house and hung out with my cousins. She had a bunch of dogs. She's always been about dogs. I remember just playing with them, always bonding with them, and I remember when we were like winding down for bed, they'd sleep at the foot of the bed at like 10 p.m. and we were watching like Inuyasha in my cousin's room. I just remember that was just pure bliss. And another memory that sticks out on my head was when I was like in grade 3 or 4. I remember seeing a goose that was on my way from school. He was just in the pathway, but every time he saw me and my brother, he would get out of the way, and then he would let us cross, and then he would go back and sit in his spot. And that happened for like a good half a year or so. That was really cool. Project X asks me, what is my favorite Nintendo 64 game? Well, I mean, there's just so many to choose from, but I would say Banjo-Kazooie is probably like #1, and I mean, everything could be a close second, like Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, Conker's Bad Fur Day, what else? Super Smash Brothers, I guess. Yeah. Banjo-Tooie. Oh yeah, Banjo-Tooie too. Yeah. AMG fanboys about me for a little bit, and then they ask me, how does hearing my voice on a recording relate to how I hear myself in day-to-day life? Is it similar or strange? And 2, how do people respond when hearing my voice in my content or other content versus in real life? Is it the same or different? So, originally it sounded a bit weird, but everybody has that issue starting out when they hear their own voice like reflected back to them for the first time, and I got used to it over time, like within let's say within 6 months to a year. And I'm also pretty quiet and reserved in the real, and when people usually hear me behind their mic, the mic, not their mic, they're usually really surprised hearing like, wait, that's you? Little Tim and Malik, little Tim, I can't believe that's you! It's always fun surprising people like that. Who inspired me to make videos? Well, I get inspired by a lot of people, like all the time. I have tons of inspirations, but I would say some of the first, like the pioneers of me starting to think about making my own videos are the likes of like Screw Attack and JonTron, because when I was starting to watch YouTube a little bit more consistently in like 2009 when I was in high school, I remember seeing like top 10s from Screw Attack suggested to me in my feed, and those guys just had, Stutter and Craig especially, they just had so much charisma and such great personalities, and they didn't care about what people thought about their opinions, and they were just so funny as well. Same goes for JonTron pretty much, and those were like the 2 big ones that really inspired me. And Flames on Fire as well, because he just sounded like a regular guy just talking about his thing, and I was like, hey, if he could do it, I mean, why can't I? What microphone do I use? Well, I've been using a snowball microphone ever since I started making videos, but I plan to upgrade. Don't kill me. I know it's bad, but I mean, Steven Mayorana asks me what the best Pokemon episode I've seen is, and I mean, there's so many, but one of the best is Ash versus Paul, in terms of what led up to that fight and the ultimate payoff. That is like one of the best payoffs I have ever seen in the Pokemon anime, and I mean, Ash may not have won that league, but that didn't matter. That was the win that we were all hoping for. That was his ultimate win. He didn't win the league, but he did it. That was the end of the story. And XYZ also has, well, XY in general, also has a bunch of contenders for best episodes ever. Metal Dragon 2000 asks what the scariest animated movie I've ever seen is, and I'd say Monster House is definitely one of them. It scared the crap out of me the first time I saw it in grade 6, and it still brings on the heebie-jeebies today. I love that film. Favorite episodes of Wander Over Yonder? Oh man, there are so many to choose from, like the Emergency Contact, My Fair Haiti, the Family Reunion, the Battle Royale, the Breakfast. So many good episodes of that great show. It's a shame the show didn't get that 3rd season it rightfully deserved, and we'll never find out the true identity of Monkey Boy. Tommy Shadow says I comment a lot on YTV and Treehouse related videos and was wondering if I heard of the Lost Media Wiki. Yeah, I'm very aware of it, and I pop in every now and again. It's a bit of a time sink like TV Tropes is, because it's always fun reading up on stuff and seeing what's lost and seeing what you vividly remember or things that you may not remember vividly. And I discovered some old YTV shows like Weird Years that just recently reappeared, and I remember seeing that show when it first aired, and I was like, how come nobody has like uploaded this anywhere? Am I like the only one that is aware of this show? And then just last year, somebody uploaded like most of the episodes that have been lost to time for over a decade. I love the Lost Media Wiki. Josh Gamer says if I could only pick 5 games to play for the rest of my life, what would they be? And oh man, I don't know. I mean, I guess one of them would be the original Donkey Kong Country, or maybe Tropical Freeze. The other one would be Smash Brothers Melee, Pokemon, something Pokemon. 4th game, maybe Banjo-Kazooie or Tooie. And 5th game, yeah, Crash 3? Sure, why not? Hyperbeam Eevee asks me what my favorite songs from each DKC game are, and as an added bonus, what is my favorite song from the Donkey Kong Country cartoon? And let's see, that is a tough decision for sure. I mean, I can't really think of like the perfect one for each game, so I'm just gonna list off some of my favorites. For DKC 1, one of my favorites, it's K. Rool's theme, Gangplank Galleon. DKC 2, it's either Steel Drum Rumba or Primeval Evil Rave. Donkey Kong Country 3, it's either a Rock Face Rumble or The Enchanted Riverbank or Brothers Bear. And for the Game Boy Advance equivalent, I'd say maybe Jungle Jitter, let's see, The Factory, Arik's theme, that's another good one. The GBA version has a lot of great themes as well. For DKC Returns, if we're just talking about original compositions, it's the Rocket Barrel theme. And Tropical Freeze, I'm gonna put Trunk Twister up here because that is one of the first ones that I ever heard, and that is just a great, fun theme. I love it so much. Favorite song from the cartoon, that one's also a hard pick because there are a lot of good ones in there. I like Curse from the Golden Banana, or Curse of the Golden Banana, sorry. Pirate Scorn, Eddie Let Me Go Back to My Home, You're My Little Evil One, I'm Gonna Be a Star. That's a good one too. I'm gonna be a star. I'm gonna be admired like James Dean or Mr. Bean. I'm gonna be in Smash. Beef or chicken? ¿Por qué no los dos? I mean, Lion Dog ZXA asks me my thoughts on the Poke clones like Digimon, Yokai Watch, my favorite YouTube poop and YouTube pooper, and my thoughts on Code Lyoko. Well, for the Poke clones, I mean, I used to watch Digimon when I was younger, and I still respect it, but yeah, I kind of fell off Digimon a while back, but I still cherish it, and I still think it's a pretty good series. Yokai Watch, I heard good things about the anime, but I only saw a couple episodes, but what I did see I really enjoyed. Favorite YouTube poop and YouTube pooper? Well, I mean, there's just so many, I don't even know. One of my favorite YouTube poops is Santa with Teeth's A Shocking Expose on Krabby Patties is still one of my favorites. One of my favorite YouTube poopers, Gaba-chan, he is just insane. Thoughts on Code Lyoko? Well, I never sat down and watched an episode in full. Like, I saw it like when it was airing on YTV, but I never really paid too much attention to it because, well, it never really grabbed me. Dude427 says, why are you cool? Well, because I live in Canada. I mean, duh, it's always... Next question, what do I use to animate and draw my pictures? Well, I've been using Adobe Flash CS 5.5 Student Edition that I got in 2011, and yeah, that's what I've been using ever since. David Barron wonders what my writing process for videos is like. If I start with a basic outline of things I want to cover and flesh things out later, or if I write a script with what I got in mind and then proofread and stuff like that, but yeah, I do a little bit of both actually, David. I start with a rough outline of what I plan to talk about, and then I just start writing out paragraphs on what's on my mind at the moment, and then after that, I come back a little bit later, maybe like a day later, and revise things a few times, cut out rambling, shuffle paragraphs around, add cool transitions and stuff like that, and yeah, that's basically what I do, and I also add a little bit of I do a bit of ad-libbing and improv, even at the final stages of the thing. Even when I'm recording, I may think of a joke, and then I might just add that in there as well. Or I might cut something out during the recording process that I think like, oh, maybe I could fix that up or spruce that up a little bit more. And yeah, that's what I do. Thanks for asking, David. This guy's a great artist. You should check him out. What are my phobias? Well, I used to be deathly afraid of thunder and lightning when I was little. I have like super sensitive ears and it just freaked me out to no end. Every time there was a thunderstorm, I would freak myself out like watching the Weather Network and yeah, just fearing of like what would happen tomorrow. That was a bad one, but these days, and well, I guess ever since I was little, it's always been bees. I hate bees. I don't like bees at all. Carpenter bees are probably the worst because they're big and they're furry, and the males, since they don't have stingers, they like to protect their nest by ramming into people. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And I remember one time a bee went in my ear, and it was the worst thing ever. I don't like bees, or wasps, or hornets, most flying bugs. I don't like. Do I like/watch anime? Yes, I do. I mean, I don't watch like every single show under the sun because I think there are a lot of them, especially more recent ones, that feel just like a huge waste of time. But yeah, I'm no stranger to anime. I like it. Supertoon fan asks me what I think of both YTV and Teletoon these days. Man, they suck. They are nowhere near as good as they were even like 5 years ago because the landscape of television has changed so much in just a few short years. And I mean, I wish there was something to watch. If there was something to watch, you bet I would watch it. It beats staring at my computer all day. I get sick to death of staring at my computer sometimes, so sometimes I just want to watch TV, but there's like barely a thing on. What am I supposed to do? Mary Mayfield asks who my main in Smash is in general. It's Pikachu. You know there is no other. Because he is my brother in that game I play, and if I have to go all day, so I can leave the other Smashers far behind. Neptune Walker asks what my current equipment for video making is. Well, I've got a snowball microphone, as I said before, and I have a Dazzle, which I started out with, and I still use it for stuff like VHS capture and stuff like that, and more recently I've got an Elgato Capture HD for higher quality video capture. I hear it can connect to older consoles, but I haven't been able to figure that out yet. Editing wise, I started out with Pinnacle Studio 12 that I got from a friend of mine, and then I upgraded to Adobe Premiere a few years in. And just this year, actually, I've been dabbling in Magix Vegas, or Sony Vegas as I just like to call it. And I've been using that for other editing prospects, like I've been getting into YouTube pooping. And yeah, that's what I've been using Vegas for, and that's been pretty cool. What is my favorite Pokemon region? Well, I would say Kanto, at least when we're talking about the games. The cities, the themes, and the parallels to real-world Japan, they always have me so interested, and just it's always so exciting to hear like these new things about like, oh, Viridian Forest is based on this place, or really interesting places like the Pokemon Mansion, or characters like Dr. Fuji, Cerulean Cave, places like that. It just lets my imagination run wild, and I think of like people exploring these places for the first time and just discovering all these crazy, interesting, mind-boggling discoveries in the Pokemon world. Yeah, Kanto is my favorite. Favorite video game character? Well, one of them is definitely Sly Cooper. He's just the coolest dude, man. He's so suave, so calm, collected, but he's a good guy at heart. He only steals from other thieves, and man, just everything about Sly. And he's a raccoon. Raccoons are awesome! Who is my main in each Smash Brothers game? So in Smash 64, it's Pikachu. Melee, it is Pikachu and or Donkey Kong. Let's see, Smash Brothers Brawl, it is Pikachu, Diddy Kong, Pokemon Trainer, Ness, and Smash Brothers 4, it's Pikachu, Charizard, Diddy Kong, Ness, Little Mac, I guess, and Captain Falcon. Is my favorite game still Smash Brothers Melee? You bet it is, Laser Cow. Will I do Smash 5 trailer reactions like I did for Smash 4? I don't think so. I mean, those Smash 4 reactions were always fun and all, but I think I'm past doing reactions, at least for the most part. If it's like really something special, I'll probably do a reaction, but I mean, no, I don't think so. Dark Prince of Awesome asks me why I said I wouldn't do furry art on a commissions page of mine, and well, the reason is I just don't think that's something I would be comfortable with. I mean, anthropomorphic animals are always fun to draw, but I mean, requests from the internet can lead into some unsettling territory. Everybody knows that. That's the only reason why. Who will I main in Smash Switch, and why is it probably gonna be Pikachu? Well, I mean, if you don't know at this point, then I have nothing else to tell you, man. Ghost Ho asks, what's my favorite Adult Swim show? Well, two of my favorites have to be Aqua Teen Hunger Force and Robot Chicken. Those are some of the funniest things I have ever seen. Aqua Teen Hunger Force is just so dumb, but both, I mean, they never fail to get me laughing like an idiot. One of my favorite episodes from Aqua Teen is Multiple Meats. Robot Chicken just has tons of great sketches. I can't even go over them all, but yeah, those are my two favorite shows, and Squidbillies is good, but yeah, I just love Adult Swim shows. Wowzers Bowsers asks me if I've played the Uncharted series or The Last of Us. No, I have not played either, but they are definitely on my to-do list. Every time somebody brings up The Last of Us in a video, I'm like, nope, I can't see this yet, I haven't played this yet. My brother's played The Last of Us and he really liked it, so yeah, they're both on my to-do list. The FA54 asks, what are my least favorite moments from the Pokemon anime? Well, I mean, Ash vs. Cameron, that's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Cameron was one of the most incompetent trainers I had ever seen, and the fact that he beat Ash in the league is infuriating. The dude thought that the Unova League was in Ikritique City all the way in Johto and was almost on the boat to Johto before someone told him, hey, no, Unova League is right here. And he brought 5 Pokemon with him to a 6-on-6 battle. How does that even work? You get disqualified. You should get disqualified for that. And he still beat Ash with only 5 Pokemon because his Riolu evolved into Lucario in a Deus Ex Machina situation, and it's like, no, that is unacceptable. Cameron sucks. Also, a second Mewtwo exists as of Genesect and The Legend Awakened. That cannot be forgiven. Wee Monkey asks, if I suddenly found myself in the Pokemon world, where would be the first place I'd visit? Well, the first thing I would probably do is go to the Celadon Game Corner and do some underage gambling. But no, seriously, I would probably go somewhere in Johto, maybe like Blackthorn City, the Dragon's Den, maybe the Whirl Islands, or no, the Safari Zone. I would love to go to the Safari Zone and just see what that looks like a cool nature reserve, just full of all these rare Pokemon that you can catch. It just sounds so much fun on paper. Nerds of a Feather asks how I discovered YouTube. So back in 2005, a friend of mine was like, hey, you ever hear of this site called YouTube? And I thought he was talking about the Pokemon Mewtwo. So then he showed me the Pokemon theme song sung by Smosh, and then I saw a couple of Crazy Frog videos, and then that's how I was introduced to it, and ever since then, I was hooked. Francesco asks me, face reveal when? Well, I mean, I originally thought about showing my face when I started making videos, but I realized that I really don't need to in order to make the videos that I want to do, and plus, I like my privacy on the internet. It's really nice. Yeah, that's why I won't do a face reveal. And my Smash mains? Well, I already said them, Pikachu, Donkey Kong, all that stuff, and wow, you've been subscribed since 200, man, that is awesome. Thank you so much. Obey J50XD asks if I can give a step-by-step tutorial of how I became so awesome. Well, I did sit-ups, drank plenty of juice, and I mean, that's how everybody gets to where they are today, right? Yeah, that's... Jared the Bobcat asks if I like Kid Icarus, and if I do, if I watch the anime shorts based off of them. Yeah, I do like Kid Icarus. Really, the only one I've played is Kid Icarus Uprising, but I loved the characters, I loved the voice acting, mostly everything about that game was pretty good, except for the fact that since I was left-handed, I was pretty much screwed. But yeah, I saw the anime shorts, I thought those were really cool, and I would like to see more of Kid Icarus again. But I don't think Sakurai is gonna do anything with him that isn't Smash Brothers like he did with Kirby, so yeah, I like Kid Icarus. A couple people ask me what my favorite animes are, and let's see. It's probably Pokemon for me, but if that's too hard for you to believe that show has serious merit, then it's Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, followed by One Piece, notably the earlier seasons, and this is all the English dubs we're talking about, especially in the case of the Funimation stuff. Dragon Ball, just love Dragon Ball, especially. It just has so much adventure and humor. It's just everything that I'm looking for in the kind of shows that I like. ChillPlayer123 asks if I cringe at Sonic X now or do I actually like it? Well, I love the theme song. I mean, unironically, I was singing Gotta Go Fast before everybody else adopted it. But, you know, Sonic X, I never really tuned into it all that much. But, you know, could be worse. I've seen worse. Pyro Dan asks me if I've ever thought about doing any videos on Mega Man, or possibly taking a look at any of the Mega Man cartoons, and I mean, well, I do like Mega Man quite a bit, but it's never really been my, forte. I never really thought about it. I mean, my brother, he loves Mega Man more than I do, and I mean, I always watched him play all the games, and I jumped in every now and again, but, yeah, Mega Man isn't really the kind of game that I would talk about, but I might, who knows, weirder things have happened, and yeah, I'm probably not gonna talk about the cartoons. I mean, me and my brother, when NT Warrior first started airing on Teletoon and Kids WB, we were not interested, not one bit. I don't know why, but just never gravitated towards us. Do I like rhythm games? Does Donkey Kong Jungle Beat count? Because that's the only one I've ever played. I've heard good things about Rhythm Heaven. I'd like to give that a shot. George Romero asks what the first game and console I remember playing was. Super Nintendo, and it's either Donkey Kong Country or Super Mario World. Ever play anything besides Pokemon? Well, I don't know. I mean, no. Where did the 8000 in my channel name come from? Well, when I was making my name. I wasn't really even thinking about like content creation back then, but I decided I wanted a number to go with it, so it was originally gonna be 9,000, but I thought I'd be cool and use 8,000 because that's what Vegeta originally said in the over 9,000 scene, so I thought I was being really cool. I've never gotten rid of it. It's just who I am. I mean, I go by Cartoon Gamer, but 8,000 is always there. Splat Tim asks me if I've read or watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I have not, but I'm gonna get around to it someday. And what are my favorite and least favorite shiny Pokemon? Well, one of my least favorite is definitely regular Gengar because it's just really bland. Same goes with Garchomp, but one of my favorites, Shiny Magmar and Shiny Gligar, because those were the two I got in Pokemon Y, and they're really cool. Lucky Toad asks, what's a game I'd love to see a sequel or a reboot to? I still want to see a Banjo 3, a Diddy Kong Racing, or a Conquer sequel someday. I know I'm not all that original, but I mean, that's all I really want, and maybe Pokemon Stadium 3. Aaron Coons asks me what I do full-time, what are some of my hobbies outside of YouTube and video games, and where he can see more of me. Well, I do a bunch of things, like full-time I work with Digino Gaming, I have a part-time job, etc. I do a lot of things. Favorite hobbies include watching cartoons, reading books, and drawing a heck of a lot. And collaborations, well, I've been doing a lot of collaborations lately, and they can be found in a playlist on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna update that just in case I don't, or there's been more stuff I've been doing since then. Aaron Brooking asks me what my favorite video game-based cartoon is and what my favorite Disney movie is. One of my favorite video game-based cartoons is definitely the DKC cartoon. Kirby Right Back At Ya is also really good, really adorable show. And favorite Disney movie, well, I mean, there's a lot, but some of my favorites from the classic era, like the 90s, include The Lion King, Mulan, Aladdin, love Aladdin, Tarzan, Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast are also really good. The more recent stuff, I like Zootopia. I loved Zootopia. I like Wreck-It Ralph. Tangled was great. Princess and the Frog. I love the Princess and the Frog. Dead Wolf wants to know if I'm having a nice day. He genuinely wants to know. Yeah, I think I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? Fire asks when I started animating. It looks really cool. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I started animating around 2011 when I got Adobe Flash Student Edition. And yeah, I mean, the stuff that I did back then wasn't all that great, but I only got better, I like to think, and I hope I'm doing better now than I was back then. Silent Sam wants to know my thoughts on Sea of Thieves, and I had a lot of fun with it in the beta, and it still has the potential to be a lot of fun, but I'm waiting to see what else comes down the road for the game. There's a lot to love about it, but there's also a lot of room for improvement, but I got this feeling in my heart that Rare knows that, and they're gonna deliver with something. Immediately following that is a question asking why I love Rare as a whole, and I mean, well, Rare has just, ever since I was little, I've loved those guys. They make the games that they want to make, and they always make such interesting things that no other studio can really do. All these guys have all these great ideas and interesting ideas. They make such memorable characters. They're really funny. They have like this weird, dry sense of humor. It's really unheard of. One might say it's quote-unquote rare, but you didn't hear it from me. A follow-up to that, Mr. Game TV asks me what my story with Rare is. Well, I mean, Rare supplied me with some of the first games I ever played: Donkey Kong Country, Killer Instinct for the Super Nintendo, Battletoads and Battle Maniacs, and I mean, I've loved their music, I love the stories that they create, I love their characters, I love everything, and I mean, I forgot about them for a couple years when I was little because I was a PlayStation 2 kid, but I got reacquainted with them through the internet. I talk with a lot of the Rare guys online, and heck, when I did that Diddy Kong Digino Gaming, I got to talk with Kevin Bayliss about like the creation of Diddy. It was like this guy who I looked up to in terms of like art and stuff. I got to talk to him like 20 years later. And I've also got a picture of a beta Saberwolf that Kevin Bayliss signed for me and gave me, and it's just, that is too cool for words. So yeah, Rare has always been a part of my life in some way, shape, or form. K-Spirit has two questions. One, do I ever see my channel coming to a decline in the next few years, both in terms of quality and quantity? And two, If ever given the opportunity, would I consider voicing Meowth in the anime or any character in general? Well, I don't know about quantity, but I certainly hope I don't just say screw it to making quality videos. I don't know what the future brings, but I always hope I can keep doing my YouTube stuff no matter what. And if I was ever asked, yeah, I would do it in a heartbeat. I would love to work on Pokemon. I'm sure there would be some contract stuff with Meowth, like I'm sure I wouldn't be able to play him in like fan-made stuff anymore, so that'd be something I would have to think about, but I mean, if push came to shove, yeah, I'd do it. I mean, why wouldn't I do it? I mean, he's one of my favorite characters ever in Pokemon. Do I have anything planned for Pokemon 5, and if so, can you tell me something about it? And what are my thoughts on Pokemon Movie 21? Well, yep, I am definitely working on Pokemon 5 right now. I'm currently in the scripting process, and I can't really say much else. You're just gonna have to wait and see. I'm not gonna spill the beans here. And my thoughts on Pokemon Movie 21, Everyone's Story? Well, from what I've seen, I don't know what to make of it, but I'm sure it's not gonna be good. The legendary Geno1 wants to know what my gaming experience as a child and teenager were like. Well, I guess one memory while I was playing a video game happened when me and my brother were playing Brawl, and then we hear some things coming out of the basement furnace. We hear some scratching going on in there, right? And I think it's this squirrel, right, that's been trying to get in the house, and I'm really worried, but my brother is like, dude, he's not gonna get in the house, don't worry about it. And then we just continue to play Brawl, and then like 5 minutes later, my brother looks over behind me after hearing the scratching again. It's like, dude, the squirrel got in! And we freaked out, man. That was horrifying. But we managed to get the squirrel out, and then he decided to come back over and over again, but he got through a broken window in the basement, and then one day he got caught in the furnace and then died, and we saw purple blood come out of it, and we had to get rid of the body, and then other squirrels started doing the same thing too. But yeah, that's a memory that's related to gaming. I'll never forget it. I was Captain Falcon, he was Zero Suit Samus.